guys, it's Lily. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. Yeah, if you saw like a couple of videos ago, I am basically wearing the same outfit, same makeup, same hair. Yes, I'm filming 2 videos today because why not? You know what I'm saying? Sorry about that. Also, if you didn't see that video, the reason why my makeup looks this crazy is because today at cosmetology school, we needed to do like a character makeup look, and I did Elsa. Don't know if you can tell, but here I am. So anyway, today I have a really exciting video. I'm going to be talking about marriage. But not only that, I'm going to be talking about how young is too young to get married, or what age is considered okay to be married at. So this is going to be kind of a juicy one because everyone has their own opinions and everyone has their own thoughts. I'm going to give you my 2 cents. Obviously, you don't have to listen to me. You don't have to agree with me. But this is just what I have come to the conclusion with. What I think is okay, I guess, but, you know, this isn't really like a debate or anything. It's just like, I don't think anyone really cares that much, but this is just my 2 cents. So, yeah, if you do not know, I am 19 years old. I'm almost 20. My birthday is October 25th. Super excited. But, as you can tell, I have a ring on my finger, so if you do not know, I am engaged. So I got engaged obviously when I was 19, and then I am getting married in 2021 when I am 20. That is really young for some people. Maybe for some people that doesn't sound super bad, super young. For some people that sounds super young. But basically this whole video is going to be like my story and like why I'm doing it and my thoughts on it, because obviously I'm young, so why am I getting married young? Everyone's different. Ever since I was a little girl, I always wanted to be married young. I mean, I just always wanted to be married in general because I loved the thought of love. I loved the thought of being married. But once I got older, I really like actually wanted to get married young. I mean, I say this about myself. This might not be true to some people that have met me, but I always have thought of myself as being more mature than a lot of other people my age. I've never been one to be kind of like in the crowd. I mean, I had a lot of like friends, acquaintances in school, but I never really like went their direction. I never was like a partier. I was never one to kind of do like those high school, college age kid things, you know, party, drink, drugs, have sex, all that kind of stuff. Like, I've always like had that mentality of being like a little bit more mature. Like, honestly, like having kids sounds way more fun than like going and partying to me. Like, having a husband to cook and clean the house and stuff sounds more fun than going on a spring break vacation. Like, I don't know. Just, I've always been that girl that's always been more mature in thinking, I guess. I always like, in my mind, really wanted to get married at like 20 and then have kids at like 23. So it's interesting because like before I even met Jack, before I even was engaged or anything like that, like when I was in high school, that's what I thought, like that's what I really wanted. And then the Lord was like, okay, this is the desire of your heart, here you go. And now I'm getting married at 20, and we really want to have kids like 3 years after we get married, so like at 23. So that would be really awesome, God willing, if I do have kids at 23, but obviously like that might not be what God's plan is, but who knows. That's kind of like my story. So the reason why we decided to get married so young, I guess, one reason is because we both are pretty mature. As I said before, he is very mature for his age, I think. And I think everyone can really attest to that if they know him. He's 21. He'll be 22 when we get married. But he kind of was like me, didn't really go the route of everyone else, kind of like was more mature in thinking. I mean, obviously, in some areas we're less mature than some people or whatever, or kind of at the same level, but overall I think we're both pretty mature, and we knew like we wanted to get married. Like, the reason why we dated wasn't to just date for like 3 years and then maybe figure it out. Like, we went into our relationship, our dating relationship, in hopes and in thinking that we were going to get married. So we dated with a purpose, and I think that's one thing one point is to date with purpose. If you're just dating to date, and dating is figuring each other out. But if your mindset is not on marriage, there's really no point in dating, because really you should just be calling that close friendship, or not sleeping with each other, but you're just friends with benefits, honestly. Because the whole intention of, in a Christian perspective, is dating is the preparation for marriage. That was the first thing, is that we decided that, when we got together, when we started dating, we were doing it in hopes that we would get married. Ultimately, age doesn't really matter. Now, I'm not saying, oh, I'm 12 years old, let's go get married. No. I think age, in a sense, doesn't matter. It's really about, A, what God says about your relationship, B, how mature you are, C, what your finances look like, what your life looks like, really all leading back to A, which is, what does God think about your relationship? If you have not put God at the center of your relationship, your marriage will not be successful as it could be, because God created marriage. God designed marriage to glorify Him. And so if you don't have that first step, it's kind of going to be a downsliding hill. Not saying that it couldn't work, but it doesn't work as well as it could if God's in the center of it. For us, we knew that God wanted us to be together. We prayed about it. We've done devotionals. We read the Bible. We've really asked God what He wanted us to do, and there is thing after thing that was revealed to us and to each other. And then we realized we just wanted to get married. Our financial situation was brought to light, and we realized we could do this financially for the time being. We could do it. Both our parents were supportive of it and are very supportive of it. But I think that the first thing is that you need to know what God thinks about your relationship and ask Him about it and make sure that He's in the center of it. That is the most important thing. A second thing, it's really not about how young is too young or whatever. I really think it's about how much experience have you guys had, how much conversation, how well do you know each other. The dating and engagement portion of your relationship, I think, is very, very important. And I think that it kind of gets looked past, especially when you're engaged. I've kind of realized this recently. It's I don't know what I would have done if I got married to Jack 4 months ago, because we've just learned so much about each other, and I think we are going to learn so much about each other when we are married and learn even more. But there's definitely things that God wants to show you, at least wanted to show us before we got married, especially in the physical aspect. Obviously we're not having sex, we're not sleeping together outside of marriage, but other things being more comfortable with each other. You can't get to know someone in just a month. Fully know someone, know their family, know their past, know what they struggle with, their inner struggles, how they deal with situations, how they deal with struggle, how they deal with pressure, how they deal with all different things that life brings. So I think it's super important to have that dating/engagement time. Now, obviously, if God tells you need to get married, you should get married. There's nothing stopping you. There's no obstacles in your way, and you just feel like that's God, then go for it, because, you don't want to be living in sexual sin. But I also think that waiting and having that time to get to know each other, to really lean on each other, have experiences with each other, and having patience is really, really important. I think engagement is such a test for especially young Christian couples, because it's really when your love and your passion for each other really starts growing, because that time's getting closer to getting married. But the patience, seeing how well they're able to have patience and to have self-control, because a lot of people, I feel rush into marriage because they don't want to have that patience. They don't want to have that self-control because they don't want to test the waters. They're scared that they might mess up. They don't want to mess up. They don't want to live in sexual sin or whatnot. But I think having that self-control, that discipline, is really important, not just for sexual reasons, but for other things in your life. I mean, if you can't have kids and you need patience, that's a patience test. If you need a job but you don't have one yet. Like, that's a patience test. So like, even just that in and of itself is really important, just to learn how to really have patience. Yeah, patience is really a key factor in the dating and engagement phase. And I think, like, for me, I mean, I can only speak from personal experience. I am a really big planner. I've literally planned my wedding since I was like 10 years old. I've always known how I want my wedding to be, what it's like. It's my fairy tale, it's my dream. So I couldn't imagine like preparing for a wedding in 5 months or 4 months or 3 months or whatever, because I know I have a vision of what I want it to look like. But also, that's not everyone's story. But I think like just the stress that it takes off me to know, like, okay, I still have this much time to prepare and to plan and to have everything be how I envisioned it is important as well. And again, patience. As I said before, it's not really about age. It's about how mature you guys are, how mature you are. I mean, you could say that you're really mature. Anyone can say that they're mature. But I think asking people, seeking wisdom, seeking advice from people, asking people what they think. I know that some people may disagree. Some people may not understand. But I think the most important thing is if the people around you and the people that you trust and that truly speak into your lives should be the ones who you should go to and ask, like, do you think we're mature enough for this? Do you think that we would be okay doing this? Blah, 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 because God can use them to speak to you. And if you don't have mentors, if you don't have people in your life who are speaking into your relationship, that is really dangerous. And I would really suggest to anyone, Christian or not, that you would have mentors for your relationship, because it will keep you guys accountable. It will keep you guys from slipping up and from just doing things that aren't the best. It's also very mature is to seek counsel, to seek wisdom, to seek advice from others who you really trust and who are godly influences. Evaluate your maturity, evaluate your financial situation, evaluate your job situation. Now, obviously, things can change. You don't need to have a CEO job. You don't need to have a college degree job to get married, because I don't. I'm not going to. Jack's not going to. My friends don't. It is important that you can sustain yourself and what marriage has to offer financially. And then another thing, and this kind of goes with the dating stage, and dating is so important, is what do you guys argue about? It's not about age. It's about how are you guys compatible? How do you talk to each other? How, again, back to maturity, how do you fix things? How do you figure things out? Do you get really, really upset and just argue and then go to bed angry? Like, that is really important, is how do you guys talk? How do you guys figure things out? And that just ties in with the maturity thing. That is so important in a relationship, and especially in a marriage, because marriage is very big percent of communication. Communication is key in a relationship, and if you don't have that in dating aspect or in a engaged aspect, then you're not going to have it in a marriage. So that's definitely something that you should think about and consider. Are you mature enough in the way you talk to each other and the way that you communicate to each other? Another really big one, this is really big, is do not do it if you have second thoughts. If you ever have a second thought and keep having the second thoughts and keep thinking that this should not be, or maybe I could get someone better, or maybe someone's better for me, then you should not get married. Even if you're young, even if you're older, even if whatever. Like, do not settle. Do not do it if you have second thoughts. Second thoughts are never good. People just want to get married so fast. They love someone so quick, but they don't sit down and really think about it. They don't sit down and pray about it. They don't sit down and ask themselves, what do I like about this person? What do I not like about this person? They don't have conversations with others. If you ever have second thoughts, if you ever have a feeling over and over and over again that you don't know if you could be with them, but I'm just going to do it, maybe it will be better, maybe it will get better. No, it is not about maybe I'm just getting too old, so I just need to get married. No. If you ever have a second thought, you should not get married. Now, there's a difference between where Satan is trying to pull someone apart for his good, whereas when God is trying to pull you apart for his good. And I think you really need to understand that, know that, learn that, deal with that, because Satan can try to pull people apart. But I think you usually know when it's God and when it's Satan, especially if you're in tune with his spirit and in tune with what he's been saying about your relationship. That is really important, is to honestly know the voice of God, listen to him, listen to what he's saying, because if you don't have the voice of God, if you don't have him speaking into your relationship, it is not going to end well. It's not going to go good. And yeah, lastly, which is what have been saying pretty much this whole video, is that you need to pray. Pray about everything. Pray without ceasing. Pray over your relationship, what you should do, if this is right, if this is wrong, if this is okay. And I think you will know. So don't worry about what others say. If you know that it's right, if you know in your heart that you've done all that you can do, and you know like 100% that this is who you're supposed to be with, this is who you're supposed to marry, as long as you are mature, you're old enough, you are in a situation, a circumstance that you can do it, then I think that you should do it. But you just need to be wise about it. And so that is my 2 cents on it. I know this can really be like a touchy subject for people, depending on how they grew up, their backgrounds, what they believe, all that kind of stuff. But that is just what I believe to be true. I have seen so much fruit in people's relationships and marriages who've gotten married really young, but they knew that it was of God, and they are still flourishing, and their relationship is still beautiful after so many years. And there's been commitment, and there's been trust built, and it hasn't fallen or crumbled. And I think that's so important, is to have those relationships as influences in your life, especially with older people. Like for us, that's like Jack and his parents, and some other people from our church, like who have older kids who have gone through a lot of stuff. So yeah, that is really important. But yeah, I hope you guys got something out of this video. I hope that it spoke to you in some way. And if you want me to do any more like video topics like this, let me know. If you have any video suggestions or ideas or whatever, please put those in the comments down below. You can also DM me if you want it to be personal. If you have any questions or whatever you want to just talk, my Instagram is Lily_Bear with 3 R's. On there daily doing stuff. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!